Hello and welcome to Fake News, the topical quiz show that will never get through Parliament. You can hear us on Talk Radio and you can see us on YouTube and Facebook right now. And what a momentous week in the world of politics. Now, full disclosure, this show is pre-recorded on Fridays. So, in true Boris Johnson style, we've written two intros. That's right, two intros to the show, reflecting the two possible outcomes in Parliament on Saturday. So here goes. Take one. Welcome to Fake News, or should we call it Great News? Parliament has voted by a wafer-thin majority to support the latest withdrawal bill. Hooray, that's it, it's done. The world is now perfect. Brexit will never be mentioned again, and Mike Graham can finally take a holiday. Phew. Take two. Welcome to Fake News. The withdrawal bill has been rejected by Parliament. A letter has gone to Michel Barnier demanding an extension. Julia Hartley-Brewer is now Prime Minister and James Whale Foreign Secretary. Boris Johnson was last seen sobbing on the hard shoulder of the M6, painting cardboard buses in his own blood. Let's meet this week's guests. First up, joining Andre Walker on Team Woke, how ironic, we have legendary broadcaster Marina Berry. And joining Dave Chawner on Team Broke, we have the wonderful and brilliantly funny comedian Maddy Anholt. Let's kick off with round one. I love this round. It's called What's the Story? Each panellist will choose their favourite story from the week's papers. 100 points for the very best. Andre, you're up first. What's the story?
So this story is from the Metro. It's about residents in the lovely town of Bridgewater, Somerset, who have discovered a bag of toys that were left discarded round the back entrance of NatWest. The toys were purple-headed and pink, and they are, let's be clear, of an adult nature.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds rather intriguing.
There's been rampant discussion around the town of where this could have come from.
Okay, all right, well, I mean, just Maddie's sweating. And Marina, what's the story?
How do I follow that? I mean...
Very difficult.
Adult toys. To broccoli. This is from the Daily Star. Boiling Point is the headline. This is basically where a guy called Roland turns up at Good Morning Britain wearing a broccoli suit. And he's basically part of the Extinction Rebellion. And it all went a little bit sour. He pulled a banana out, claimed it was ringing like a phone.
Oh dear.
It was all a little bit awkward. Plus, he was wearing this orange tie, which quite frankly, just completely clashed with the outfit.
All right, well, that sounds like a travesty of fashion. Not unusual for that show. No. But, there we are. Dave, what's the story?
So this week, my story is my favourite funeral.
I'm hoping there's a sort of Steven Spielberg-style happy ending.
It is because he spoke to his son Jonathan and he said, look, it's a sad day, but I don't want everyone to be sad. So he and his son came up with a prank, and what they did was they took a voice recorder, dropped it in the coffin, and when the coffin was lowered, you heard the sound of like nails going, and you go, "Help, get me out!" And they filmed it. And knocking on the coffin.
So great.
What a great idea.
Bit of gallows
Is that
humour.
the priest?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, we do like a sense of humour on your, once you've shuffled off the mortal coil. Maddie, what's the story?
It is the story of a widower's 50-year collection of adult magazines. I feel like we're on the same...
Bridgewater in Somerset.
These are connected, for sure.
Which is tipped to sell for £40,000. But what I like the most about this is that most are in immaculate condition. Most.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, I'm in my 40s. I've been married for 2 decades. I get excited by good housekeeping, so I'm afraid. Fantastic effort collectively. I'm going to give the 100 points to Maddie.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes, indeed. It was filthy but entertaining,
Thank
just
you.
like this show. This round, just like the title of the show, is Fake News. I will read some stories from this week's papers. You guys have to choose if they're true or false. So, Andre and Marina, you're up first. Is this true or false? After Brexit, Northern Ireland could lose well-known fast food shops like Burger King, McDonald's and Greggs following changes in the tax structure as it aligns with the rest of the Republic. What do we think, true or false?
I think that this is based in truth because obviously there are different arrangements now for the Republic, for Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Whether that applies to fast food, I don't know. What are we going to go with?
Well, look, are you saying you want to go with false? Is that what you're telling me?
I would probably go with false.
Would you? Okay. Do you know what? Let's go. I think it's true, but let's go false.
No, don't do that.
No, I want to go.
No, we fought for this. What are you doing?
No, do you know what? If we go true and it's wrong,
It's a dilemma, isn't it? I know, that's the nature. You know, it's tough love here at Fake News.
No, it's false.
Is the right answer. Yes, indeed. Don't worry, people of Northern Ireland, Burger King, McDonald's and Greggs are here to stay, and a look of palpable relief in the eyes of Andre are
Do you know the other thing that
substantial.
they have in Northern Ireland? Pints of Smirnoff Ice on draft.
I'm going there.
Who buys it?
I like Smirnoff Ice.
They also have a crisp brand called Tato.
Yeah, which is incredible.
It's amazing, but also Mr. Tato once ran for Irish presidency.
Wow.
I just think the idea of having like a
Wow.
fat bloke with
know
stupid hair as president was mental.
Oh, imagine.
Dave and Maddie, true or false? According to a new study out this week, Maya and Jack have been revealed as the UK's naughtiest names. The study analysed opinions of 1,500 teachers and parents. All agreed that Jacks were the most likely to misbehave. Jack's a bit naughty.
Well, that's like Jack the Lad, isn't it? That's where it comes from.
Very good point.
Jack, I would expect if I called my son Jack that he would be naughty.
Yeah.
There's just something about it.
It is one of those Harry, Jack is asking for trouble, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about Barry? You always got to watch yourself with a Barry.
I think you were safe for the Barry.
No, Barry,
for the Barry.
Barry would be handsy. You just know it. Yeah, it's got that little ring to it, like Barry the Handsy. I don't know, something about it.
Sorry, Barry the Handsy?
Yeah,
Did you say that like that's a normal thing and then just carry on?
Yeah, do you know
Barry
like
the Handsy, oh yeah.
Comedy, Barry the Handsy, you know it.
Yeah. And
used
it's
to work on a
all-
shopping
I'm
channel.
glad that Maddie's got standards, but let's be honest. In 5 years' time, she'll be like, so I'm getting engaged to Barry, and what are you going to do? So what do we think, true or false?
I think true.
I think true.
Is the right answer.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Mia or Maya and Jack are the UK's naughtiest names, while Isla and Arthur are considered incredibly well behaved. Well, my eldest son is called Arthur, and he's a little angel. It just proves adoption works. Andre and Marina, true or false? Greggs have announced a new competition giving customers the chance to vote for which city gets their festive bake first.
Do you remember Grant Tucker from The Times was so obsessed with Greg's opening in Westminster that there was actually an online petition for him to do the official opening and Greg's allowed him to cut the ribbon.
By the way, you notice that we mention Greggs every week, and it's just to cheer Andre up,
No,
basically.
as you know, I do not shop at Greg's anymore. I don't eat there because that 4 for 3 deal.
Asking for trouble.
Absolutely. £2.70 for all 4 of them. 2 in the bag. I'll never eat them then on the train.
You're like Gaza at a half-price odd bin sale.
Oh, it's disgusting.
But I love the idea
elitism.
that it's what is it, 4 for 3 deal at Greggs. That was like your Iraq war, wasn't it, really?
What was the question?
Well, a long time ago.
as well, to be honest.
We've all moved on. I'm not sure we're even on air at this point.
False.
False?
Don't even know what the question
I don't
is.
even know either.
Well, let's take a look.
This better be
I
right.
can tell you it's true.
Okay, what was it?
Well, Newcastle currently in the lead at the moment. Of course, it's not quite
I
Christmas
knew that
yet.
was true as well.
So well done
question?
to
I've forgotten it.
our friends in the northeast. The winning location will receive a sackload of festive bakes on November the 1st. Lucky them. Okay, next up, Dave and Maddie, true or false? You're going to love this one. A dad was banned from Wetherspoons in Cambridge this week after buying his 13-year-old son an alcohol-free cider. True or false?
Now, I know this. I've read this story. It's true. I read this story. And now
Can I just say you're breaking the cardinal rule
Sorry, I
on this show,
couldn't,
which is to be well informed.
yeah.
These guys, model students.
No one wins a yacht. Like, it's not worth it.
literally the only story I know about. As I said to you as I was coming into the studio, Mark, I know nothing, and then this came up, and I'm
So
like...
tell us more. So what do you think?
So he
happened?
did. So yes, he took his son into a pub, and now I'm confused by this because you said alcohol-free,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
But
0%, I guess, right?
but
Difference between alcohol-free and de-alcoholized.
yeah, so there is 4% or so 0.4 something.
Yeah.
There's
Like a
4
trace amount,
a
maybe.
trace amount, yeah. So he was served, and he sat down with his son, and they had their drinks, and then someone came over and said, "What are you doing? You're not allowed to do that." So the dad said to the son, "Drink as fast as you can."
Really?
Yes. And
Brilliant.
like guarded his son while his son was going, "But Dad, I don't." And he was going, "Do it."
Did you hear the other story this week about Humphrey Smith, who owns the Sam Smith's pub chain, which he inherited from his dad and his granddad and whatever, he was so angry about hearing somebody swear in his brand new Fox and Goose pub in Worcestershire that he immediately closed it. He went behind the bar, emptied the till, emptied the safe, and said, right, the pub's closed.
Well, because someone swore.
Well, I don't know if you can say this on radio. He's a famous eccentric.
But I love this idea of the dads like quickly get it down you. I mean, it's like welcome to broken Britain.
Yeah,
seriously,
that's it,
it's
right
like
now.
even it doesn't matter how bad things get. It's like we are not wasting beer.
It's true, and they say about the younger generation, they're the ones who cause it, and the son is there being like, Dad, I don't want to get involved in it. It's that
Maybe
older.
it's like the only way that you can rebel in Cambridge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
a
it's
Wetherspoons in Cambridge is still made of marble though, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, it's interesting. Did you know, fun fact of the day, which is I was involved in a tasting of low alcohol beers. Some of them are quite good now. But I was a bit complaining because there's a tiny bit like 0.5% or something. And it was pointed out to me that a lot of fresh produce, like freshly squeezed orange juice, contains about 0.5% alcohol as well.
What?
Yes. Yeah. So, I had a few pints of that and couldn't drive home. However, I got a lot of vitamin C. There you go. Well, what do we think? True or false?
True.
I absolutely believe, Maddie, true.
Yes, it's true. The manager of Wetherspoons in Cambridge asked for ID when he realised the alcohol-free cider contained, actually to be specific, 0.05% alcohol. And he was only following the law. So there you go.
He's only following orders. It's not an excuse you're allowed to use anymore.
No, definitely not. Andre and Marina, is this true or false? According to a new report out this week, 1 in 5 millennials admit to talking to their plants. That's right, Prince Charles style. Well, in response, a website has now been launched, a series of new books for plants where you can actually read the book like bedtime stories. The site says you should read to flowers to encourage their development. True or false?
I actually, I'm going to shock you now, I do talk to plants. Not just any plants, my plants.
But plants, I mean, is a little bit of a far-fetched idea that they somehow grow when you stay high.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm not talking about reading them a book. I think that's going a little bit too far.
Okay.
But, just kind of, I do it, honestly. I've got plants around my house and they're living plants. It sounds ridiculous, I know. But because they're living, you see them sometimes just move. Does anyone else know that? Get that?
Yeah.
No? They do move a little bit.
and
And
who's
do
gonna-
I think they move?
Yeah.
No, it's true. They do.
What a wonderful ketamine plant you've got.
Who's
but they
going to
do.
familiarise our lovely colleague Marina here with the idea of wind? I don't know.
I was thinking the same
Listen,
thing.
honestly, it happens when there's no windows open in my house. I'm not even joking. I know
Multiple ways of creating wind.
and I hadn't had a curry the night before,
He's
so
a vegan.
it's not that.
So have you had results? Have you had results talking to your plants?
I mean, put it this way, I very rarely water them and they're still alive. They're still green, so it must be working.
Good stuff. All right. Well, in that case, does this powerful knowledge give you the answer, true or false?
I genuinely think this is true. Oh, thank goodness you agree. True, right?
True.
100%.
It is true. Well done, guys. Yes, this week, the Flatshare website Spare Room launched its first ever book club for plants. Okay, time's up, which means the scores are Team Woke, 52 points. Team Broke, 512.
Yes!
Storming to victory. It's time for a quick break. They need tea. I need my injections. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to Fake News, the topical quiz show that's only here because of the support of the DUP. I am Mark Dolan, still representing the undemocratic metropolitan elite are Andre Walker, Marina Berry, Dave Chawner and Maddy Anholt. Welcome, guys. We are live on Talk Radio. Lovely to have your company. You can also watch us on Facebook and YouTube right now. Yes, indeed, our next round is Headline Deadline. Here are headlines from the news this week. All you have to do is guess the missing word. It's a buzz around, so let's crack on. Good luck, everyone. And first up, Jeremy Corbyn says new Brexit deal is what?
Better than the old one.
Well, that's probably what you think, isn't it? We haven't had, by the way, the official inside track, Andre Walker's opinion on Boris's new Brexit deal.
Well, the slight problem is this is going out after it's been agreed or disagreed.
But the magic is you
No,
can still...
Okay. Well, I'm amazed it went through. I'm not surprised it didn't go through.
Well, Dave...
You've broken it again.
I think
Yeah.
nobody actually knows what this deal is. Like, what is this deal? What's different about it?
It's not, you see, it's something like what, I may be wrong on this because I'm not getting my numbers right tonight. It's something like 5% different. It's not that big a percent
What's
different.
that even mean? Let's look at like the week's papers so far. All that we've come out with is this is a nation that uses adult toys. That's the only thing that we've got
Well,
that is a big export.
Everyone used to complain about the wine lake until Jean-Claude Juncker became the president of the EU. Nobody mentions it now.
What's a wine lake?
There used to be a wine lake. They used to pay people to produce wine.
You read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
No.
That's what you did. What an idiot.
The reason why prices are higher as a result of the EU is that what the Common Agricultural Policy used to do was buy up loads of produce and then bin it. Now what they do is they pay farmers not to produce stuff in order to push up the price of food.
People that say that are the people that watch like conspiracy theories of the moon landing and say that it was filmed in a car park in Chile.
Hang on, you might have a point there. I'm not so sure about this whole moon landing thing.
EU
What was
right
I?
This is a tin hat brigade all of a sudden.
Sorry,
Marina,
but I am
tell
full
us
of
more.
Well, I'm just full of conspiracy theories about everything. I just don't know if I 100% believe it.
Right. So you think maybe...
Based on what evidence?
Look, I don't know. I'm out of my depth. with this
Great.
now
No,
already.
You
I just-
said that.
This is why we're in this situation, because people make crass things about freaking wine lakes and butter mountains.
My favourite was
They
when
existed.
somebody walked up to Buzz Aldrin and said, "You didn't walk on the moon, it's all a fake," and he just thumped the guy.
Yeah, but you know what? I think he had a point doing that. So I'm really contradicting myself now, because if he did walk on the moon and someone went up to him and said, "You didn't walk on the moon, mate," and pointed right in his face like I think he did, then I think he'd got every right to thump him one, really.
We have been spending the past 1,000 years trying to work out our relationship with Europe. Every single generation has failed to define it, and that goes all the way back to the Normans and the Romans. So this is nothing new.
Well, I think there's something very interesting in the polls this week, which is that a majority of people want Brexit sorted out and done, which is Boris Johnson's judgment as well, get Brexit done. But a majority of people also would rather we'd never voted for it in the first place. Yeah. So there is a lot of buyer's regret.
However, remember, a poll on the day of the referendum had remained 10% ahead, and Leave still won.
Can I just say as well, I think there's two camps. There's the people that don't want to leave at all, and then there's the people that do want to leave, like Jacob Rees-Mogg, who wants to take us back to the Norman times, to the Stone Age, because that's when he felt more up to date and relevant.
I'm not against returning to those times, I have to say.
What, to the Stone Age?
Yeah, why not? It's probably quite good fun, wasn't it?
like the outfit.
Plus, I would love to see you in a loincloth.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd love it. It'd be fantastic.
You'd have to go back to the Stone Age.
Have there been any positives as a result of Brexit?
Well, I think that Lembit Opik has got the right idea. I'll just read you this little bit here that I found in the Star. He says, we should all move to the moon. Don't worry, relax, he says. There is no room for party politics in space. What are you going to argue about?
Wow.
Can I
Yeah.
just say,
There you go.
I have to say, not often do I agree with Lembit Opik, but the idea of blasting him off to the moon and leaving him there, sensational idea.
Maybe with one of the cheeky girls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, better still, both of the cheeky girls.
That's probably what he's saying. He probably knew that he'd have both of them with him, so that's the reason he said it, right?
Do you know, I went on a TV show with Lembit Opik once. I went, "Hello, how are you?" And he filled up, took my hand and went, "It's been very difficult." I went, "Hang on, son, it's a meet and great, keep it light."
Oh, bless it. Oh, that's so
I'm not
sweet.
interested. I'm just being polite.
Who do you think you are? Has really gone downhill, hasn't it? Yeah.
Lembit, it's funny, I don't know with these politicians, would you bring them back? Would you bring back Lembit? Because he was quite entertaining, wasn't he?
really
I will tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing about Lembit Opik. When he stood up and said he was going to become a stand-up comedian, everyone laughed. They're not laughing now, are they?
Jeremy Corbyn said a new Brexit deal is worse than Theresa May's.
Theresa May's what?
Yeah.
Deal, I think.
Okay, fine.
Withdrawal agreement. What a strong image. The Labour leader still wants another public vote, it turns out. Next up, Nigel Farage says he would rather have what than the new Brexit deal?
A Burger King.
I wonder if you'd like to have a Wimpy, because that's going to be quite post-Brexit. I think I think all the Café Rouges will disappear.
Quite like Wimpy.
And it will be like Little Chef and Wimpy all the way.
When I worked at the European Parliament, there was a guy on Place Luxembourg who used to play the accordion really badly. And I walked up to him and I said, "Look, how much is it for one song? And he said €5. I went, so 3 songs is €15. I said, I've got a good friend of mine. He loves the accordion, but he'll never admit it. You've got to do the full 3 songs. And Nigel Farage and Aaron Banks were sat there, and he came up going, oh, in their ear. It took a full 20 minutes for it to finish. And Farage was going, okay, get lost now, get lost. It was wheezing and hissing in his ear.
I mean, it does make you think, doesn't it, post-Brexit, you know, whether our cuisine will change, because we might be a little bit less European influenced, and there was British food again. Angel Delight, Finder's crispy pancake, anyone?
Of course.
Well, rationing's going
meat.
to come back, isn't it?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mystery meat.
Mystery meat. I used to love mystery meat.
What on earth is mystery
But
meat?
do you not remember at school where they go, that is a piece of meat, and you go, what animal's it made from? No idea, because it's mystery meat.
Mystery meat sounds like the worst ever board game, doesn't it? Okay, well, I can tell you, Nigel Farage says he would rather have an extension and election than a new Brexit deal. I'm glad I finished that sentence, by the way, because I wasn't quite sure where it was going. Yes, Nigel Farage is pushing for an alliance with the Tory party and says that would win a big majority in Parliament. Next up, angry commuters clash with Extinction Rebellion as they climb on what?
They're high horses.
Oh, well, that's metaphorical. Might be more physical.
There you go.
Marina?
You've broken them both.
Okay, they're
now.
both dead. Tube train.
Tube train is the right answer.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well done. Yes, angry commuters have clashed with Extinction Rebellion as they climbed literally on the roof of a tube train. Commuters in Canning Town, which is a very streetwise part of the capital,
Very brave. Them to do
pulled
that.
the protesters off the roof on Thursday morning. Next up, Piers Morgan attacks climate protester dressed as what on Good Morning Britain?
Oh,
Marina.
come on. Broccoli.
Broccoli is the right answer. Yes, Piers Morgan fell out with Mr. Broccoli on Wednesday. The man dressed as a broccoli asked viewers to give peas a chance.
I thought you were saying what was Piers Morgan dressed as, and I was going to say a middle-aged troll who annoys everyone.
Dave, you are our celebrity vegan.
Right.
And with the amount of vegetables you eat, you must be like 20% leek or something.
Yeah, I think I think I'd...
You're very
20%.
close to nature, aren't you?
Very
Really?
close to nature. I don't really know what to say to that. Yeah, I do. I identify more as leek than I do as mystery meat.
So you therefore probably quite like Mr. Broccoli. This is good messaging for our
I think
celebrity
honestly,
vegan.
right, with Mr. Broccoli, like he had such a platform to do so much good.
He was really boring.
And he was really boring. I think if we've learnt one thing from Boris Johnson, it's be entertaining. I hate to say it, it's one of the few things he's got.
Anybody watching this has got to Google the Dog with Two Tails party, because when you see that stellar performance, you'll realise just how rubbish
bad
Mr.
this
Broccoli
is.
was.
Yeah.
Maddie, I think we can sort of take a life lesson that people that dress up in wacky outfits are normally resolutely unhilarious, aren't they?
Yeah, actually, one of my only phobias in life is, and this, I don't mean this to be non-PC, is the charity people who dress up when you can't see their faces.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's the
Like
same as
as
like
a bear or
mascots,
as-
as a bear
yeah,
or
or
something,
something. Or as an animal
with a
or something.
bucket, because they're so unpredictable. So at least Mr. Broccoli, I can see his face.
Okay, time's up. And with that litany of libelous badinage, here are the final scores. Team Woke lose the battle with 72 points, and Team Broke get Brexit done with 7,592 points.
Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. Many thanks to all of our wonderful guests who have tested the word entertainment to its very limits. Before we go, let's take a look at next week's news. Donald Trump says he's going to invade Switzerland next because their cheese is so rich. Like everyone else, Jeremy Corbyn tries to quit the Labour Party over anti-Semitism, then remembers he can't because he's leader. And finally, more shocking revelations from Elton John's autobiography. I'm not actually gay, I've got a full head of hair under this wig, and Candle in the Wind is about my flatulence. Who knew? I've been Mark Dolan, this has been Fake News. Thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you next week.